hello, everybody. Yes, hello, everybody. Yes, this is Wrestleview Live number 78, July 19th, 2020. God, how in the hell do I even start this? What kind of a show did we even watch? You know, this is how bad, you know, with how weird the show was, this is how weird the intro is going to be. I'm Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com, the host of Wrestleview Weekly that you catch every week here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel, and the co-host of this show, Wrestleview Live, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them right here, because you're here right now to talk about the horror show at Extreme Rules, the longest title for a WWE pay-per-view, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's correct. But, oh boy, we got a lot to talk about. I just got to bring in right now my co-host, the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, co-host of the Post-Raw Recaps on this station live every Monday alongside his beautiful wife, the Queen of Wrestleview, Victoria. It is Mike Tedesco. Mike, help me.
Help me. I had to sit and recap this show, man. This was... Wow. I mean, all of a sudden, those Saudi Arabia shows that got really shit on look pretty damn good right now.
Yeah.
Man alive. I'm going to really struggle tonight because we try to find all that, you know, those positives. I will be able to find a positive from the show, but gosh, sure. If this is WWE trying really hard, I'm scared.
Okay.
That like them this being like them trying really hard should scare the crap out of everybody right now.
Yeah.
What the hell did you just watch tonight?
I know. First, let's try to get ourselves in a positive mood, and I can do that by doing the pleasantries as I usually do. Because it may not be my show, but I do it here anyway. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who is in there? I know you may not see it on the overlay, but I definitely see you in the chat room. I see Andrew. I see Ed. What's an Ed Hamilton? I've never seen you, Ed. You're a nice person. I see Chad. Nafis with the threes on the wee. Who else is in there? I see Mediocre Lewis. I like calling him Mediocre Lewis because he's not Louis Varaldi. Louis Varaldi is the sexy hunk of man meat. I see Mex Guy. I see, yes, I see I see Grash. Wee. Okay. Oh, all right. I got to go back to right there. Okay. So,
Wee.
There you are, Mike. There's Mashoon. Wee! Okay, Mike, for the love of God. Okay, so quick results of the show?
Oh, that'll be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura defeat The New Day in a tables match to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Bayley defeats Nikki Cross to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. MVP declares himself the United States champion because Apollo Crews got a full Nelson put on him a month ago and still can't compete. They really know how to make face stars in this company, man. Woo! Seth Rollins defeats Rey Mysterio in an eye for an eye match and popped Rey Mysterio's eye out by apparently shoving a point into it. So that pops. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. I don't even know what the hell to call it. Is it a no contest? Is it, did Sasha Banks beat her? I'm calling it a no contest because Bayley stole the referee's shirt and the Raw Women's Championship does not change hands. But of course, wrestling. Drew McIntyre defeats Dolph Ziggler to retain the WWE title. Now, the stipulation Dolph Ziggler picked was Extreme Rules only count for Dolph Ziggler. If McIntyre is disqualified or counted out, Dolph Ziggler gets the WWE title. So they had that going on for them. And Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman had a Wyatt swamp fight, but there was no winner. Or just like people got drowned and yeah. That's it.
I'm kind of with you right now just on these, and I'll go and switch it over to me because I know of the viewers that are here in the chat room wondering about, Doug, what about your predictions and those locks that you made? So of those 7 matches, 2 of them ended up being no contests, with it being the MVP Apollo Crews match and the Asuka Sasha Banks match.
Now, technically, the MVP match was a forfeit.
But there was no referee, there was no bell rung,
True.
there was no nothing.
I'll give you that.
However...
I just like watching you drink. I don't know.
Yeah. But however, those 2 matches, in my opinion, we aren't even paying attention to because I didn't even lock those things. So that's not what anyone really cares about. The other 5 matches that I predicted, we went 3-2. And yes, those 2 losses are locked picks. I picked Rey Mysterio to win the eye for an eye match. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I should have thought that, if it's going to be an eye for an eye, you go for what's going to be the easiest one to make it look like something happened. I should have known. Go with the guy wearing the mask. Don't go with, go with the guy wearing the mask that's going to get destroyed.
Go with the guy working with a contract over the guy who's not.
Yeah, exactly. And I am calling on the swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. I'm calling that Bray Wyatt won that just because he's the last creature that we saw after the match. And so I think it's fair to say that Bray Wyatt won that, whatever that was. And so, 2 locks went wrong. That means 2 shots of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. This is going to be a doozy. And I can't wait to tell you guys at the end of the show here what I've got planned for this week's Wrestleview Weekly. We're going to be watching some matches, okay? And we're going to be watching some matches. I'll go ahead and we'll talk about that later. But first, we got to talk about this show right now.
We do, and I see Hayden Barker's in the chat room. Says I can't stay. I haven't watched pay-per-view yet. We'll watch you guys later. Don't watch pay-per-view. Just watch us.
Just don't do it. Don't do it, Hayden. Whatever you do, don't do it. It's not worth it. Listen to your friends and family and loved ones, especially the ones in the chat room. Listen to them right now. Okay. All right.
Jimmy.
I know. Okay. Now, as always, every professional wrestling podcast, when they review pay-per-views, the first thing they talk about is what? Oh God, this sucked. Oh, this should have happened. Oh, this pay-per-view sucks. But that's what every pay-per-view, every podcast does. They critique. They say what they would have done or should have done, and blah 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 blah. But not this one. The very first thing we do is try to find positives. Now, granted, the past WWE pay-per-views that we have had, it's been kind of easy to pick something, that's positive to talk about, and it's usually something that we didn't really think would happen. We're pleasantly surprised that something happened. This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Tough.
Do I need to start with it, or should I let you go first?
I mean, I know... I know what my positive is.
Okay, then you go ahead. I mean, I know what mine is too, but yeah,
I absolutely know what my positive is. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like even though like there was a lot of stipulations put on it. My favorite thing was the WWE Championship match with Ziggler and McIntyre.
Yeah,
like there was good stuff before this match. But like they overbooked it to hell. Like Asuka, Sasha Banks, I thought was a good match, but they overbooked it to hell. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. If they just had a regular match without that ridiculous fucking stipulation, that would have stolen the show because they were wrestling like all the lead up to the end was really quite good.
Yeah.
But the only thing that from start to finish that was actually good and had drama and they didn't fucking kill it was the WWE title match. So I'm going with that. And also, Drew McIntyre has been the one, positive beacon of light through this whole entire pandemic. Really just a consistently good main event performer every single time.
Yeah.
Like when he's doing his thing, you forget that there's no crowd, which is always a good thing.
That is a good point. That is a very good point. He's one of the few that you don't even know that the setting that they're in because of him.
Exactly. You don't know anything's wrong, with the world, because the guy, he connects beyond just his segment. He really, he's intriguing. He's got an aura around him. He is a main eventer, and they book him like it, and they haven't strayed from that formula yet.
Right.
Now, like I'm always afraid, like just because I've seen it happen too many times now, where it's like you get really behind somebody and it's like, okay, well, look at the ratings that came out this week. It's the lowest rating ever. Da, 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 da. It's like, well, we already fired Heyman. Then we got Bruce in charge of 2 shows. What are you going to fire Bruce? No, I'm always afraid that the next person they're going to look at is like, well, Drew McIntyre is not drawing as a champion. Let's, that's the end of him. But, with performances like this, that would be a really hard argument to make. I think that hopefully that's just my paranoia talking, because we've been beaten over the head too many times as wrestling fans when stuff like this happens.
Yeah,
he's great. And Ziggler showed up. He was bumping all around for McIntyre in this one. The drama of Ziggler only being able to bend the rules and locking. One of my favorite parts in the entire match wasn't any of the big bumps or anything like that. It was when he had the sleeper hold on McIntyre. McIntyre gets to the ropes and Ziggler doesn't let go because he doesn't have to. It's like Extreme Rules only for Ziggler. I was like, God, this is like really good. How is Drew going to get out of this? Even like when Drew went to go suplex him through the table, and he's like, wait a minute, if I do that, this is a DQ.
Right.
You can still send people in the dasher boards, which doesn't make sense to me. But then that's not a DQ. But it was all that smart stuff, and it really you got to show off his strength, him being not a stupid face, which again, they love booking faces to look really dumb in this company, and he never looks stupid. Never. He's never booked to look like a fool, which is again another huge plus for McIntyre. It's just it was just a good match. It was a solid match. It wasn't like it would be a great Raw main event.
Oh, sure. For
like a pay-per-view, this is like an average pay-per-view match, but on this show, this was like this stood out because from start to finish, it was just solid work all around. That's what I got for this one.
I'm totally with you. Like, this was your basic run-of-the-mill and me, pay-per-view main event that, yes, you could trade it off and you could put it on Monday Night Raw. Sure, no problem, but you can understand why it would be on an Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Yes.
I'm keeping this GIF up of Drew McIntyre doing that, the suplex spot that you were talking about.
Yeah, I love that spot.
Just because, and you said before, and I agreed with you there, that, it's just McIntyre takes you away from the environment that they're actually in. He erases all of the question marks and scarcity of crowds and crowd noise and everything. And one of the biggest ways that he does this is just by a facial expression. Not even a full facial expression is when he has Dolph up in the suplex and you can see him looking back and you can see the look in his eye like, oh crap. And he turns it, drops him, and he's got the look in his face of like, oh, that's not good. So
I actually, another facial expression that was great on him was when Ziggler was announcing the thing and he goes, I'm picking an Extreme Rules match. He goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like, okay, sure. All right.
And Ziggler's like, just for me. And he's great because he can be funny and then he can turn the switch and he's serious and you believe it.
Yeah.
Like another thing that's severely lacking is, like people that you can get behind that you can believe in. Now this company's handicapped because they're missing like Roman Reigns and, a couple other stars that aren't around right now.
They're missing right now their biggest male performer in Roman Reigns and their biggest female performer in Becky Lynch.
Right.
Right now.
And, it's people that you can really connect with are few and far between, and McIntyre is that guy. You know, like there's no question about it. He is pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, no, that's a good positive. Mine, throughout this entire, all of last week, we saw it all over the Twitters. It's been the 5-year anniversary of the women's evolution, when Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha came out and stunned the world. And look at how the WWE has been since those 5 years. It's the same people. No one else has really been. Well, yes, there's Alexa Bliss, but she had a lot of concussions. And yeah, there is Asuka, I guess. Yeah.
Bliss has been around for about 4 years, though.
Oh, Bliss has been around. Well, yeah, if we're going to count NXT, it's longer than that.
But, yeah.
But there's no one else has come up from this group. I mean, I would think if 5 years with the women's evolution that you would have at least double that amount of women that you could say augment what we're talking about. I bring this up, but Doug, you're supposed to be talking about something positive. I loved the Bayley-Nikki Cross match. I loved it, okay? Just because it was so simple. It was simple to follow. It was not contrived at all. You've got Sasha, even the only faults I'm going to give with it is you had Sasha Banks just holding belts and not really saying a damn thing. Alexa Bliss not carrying anything and not saying a word. However, the match itself was put together fantastically. Nikki Cross was given a bunch of offense in this match. A ton of offense. And of course you sit there, oh God, but Karen's still kicked out of everything. But the kickouts were fantastic. The timing of the kickouts were fantastic. They were believable. They were right at that 1/8 of a second kick out. Nikki, nailing that neck breaker, and she kicks out. Damn it. Then she nails the neck breaker on the outside of the ring, brings her back in, almost kick out. Oh. But it also went the same lines with Bayley. Bayley hitting the belly. When she hit the Bayley to belly, I thought that was it.
I did too, and I was like, wow, they're going to end it right there? Come on now.
I was going like, there's a Bayley to belly, and I just go, okay, there's your finish. Nope, kick out. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So we are building Nikki here a little bit. Okay. It wasn't
overbooked.
No, not at all. No, it was, and when I say simple, it was a match that I could show to anyone and tell them a backstory about it, and it plays out right there in front of them. Okay? There's nothing, we don't need to go into an incredible amount of backstory. Okay? Here Nikki Cross hates Bayley's guts. Bayley's trying to defend her title, and here we go. This is the match. That's all. That's it. That's all there is. Okay? There's only one thing, and I'm kind of mincing here a little bit, is if you're at ringside, you better be doing something. You better be yelling. You better be slamming on that apron. You better be doing something. And I'm not saying doing something in the match. I'm not saying get on the apron and distract the ref or anything. I'm saying keep people enthused, even though you're somewhere where people aren't going to be enthused. Okay? Do something.
Yeah. I actually agree with that, but I found it actually more it was like more apparent during the Asuka Sasha Banks match. They were Bayley gets involved. I'm sorry, Sasha Banks kind of got involved towards the end. That was fine. Yeah. But when it was Asuka with Kairi Sane and Bayley at ringside, Bayley, because the language barrier with Kairi Sane, she's not going to make a ton of noise as it is. No. But Bayley, I was waiting for her to be obnoxious. She's been doing an awesome job on Raw, and I'm sure on SmackDown too, but I don't watch. doing her thing, like she jumps on commentary. She'll steal the headset and just talk for like a second and just be like ridiculous.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing any of that during that match, and it's like, man, like, you know, Sasha Banks and Asuka, it was good. It got a little sloppy towards the end, and it was like, man, like it really needs like a little extra flavor that was missing at some point in that match. Like, yeah, the ringside manager role, and you're right, it was kind of lacking in this match too. But it was lacking all night in a sense.
And with the Asuka Banks match, yes, it was good. And then, you know, Bayley and Sane going at it on the outside of the ring, and that's all well and good. But for me,
they cut away from Kyrie's big bump.
Yeah.
Like weird camera work.
Yeah, that's really weird camera work right there. I would think that they would want to shoot that so that everyone can be angry that their waifu got hurt.
Yes.
Why? You must show the waifu get hurt. But
Sasha Banks also, whenever she's in the ring, she is liable to get hurt as well. So.
Oh, yes.
Someone else's waifu is going to get hurt as well. So
everyone's waifu is getting hurt. Let me see. I want to say that the women's evolution is still going on, but the problem is, I'll name you some women right now that they've tried building and it ain't working. Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
Carmella. Mm-hmm. Naomi. For love of God, Naomi.
Well, through no fault of her own, they just don't know what the hell to do with her. It seems like she's too talented for what the shit she's getting. There seems to be some kind of groundswell building up. I'm sure they're going to push her coming very soon.
I've seen the hashtag brewing, and she was retweeting some things over the past couple of days. So I've kind of seen that.
Although I did like the karaoke segment shout out in the Firefly Funhouse tonight. I'm going to show you some truly horrible, disgusting footage, and it's the karaoke contest. I was like, that was actually pretty goddamn funny.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you can hand it to WWE Creative to know, okay, we know where we screwed up, our bad, you know. Yep. It's not like they always bring it up with the I think the Alexa Bliss segment of, you know, this is your life. They do that a couple of times.
Or the old day segment.
Yeah.
Lashley sisters.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. Oh, God, that hurts my head. Speaking of hurting your head, eye for an eye match.
I'm not there yet, man.
Not there yet?
No, I am, but gee.
Look, if we need a street fight, you just do a street fight.
Yes.
That's all you got to do. Okay?
They had a perfect opportunity to dust off one of the more unique concepts in wrestling, and you have two talented guys that could definitely pull it off.
Oh, could go nuts.
A blindfold match. They absolutely could have done that in this match. You have a paid WWE crowd there. You know, like if there's ever a time you're going to break it out and it's going to make sense, you know, it's going to be the blindfold match. Instead, no. They go on they build this thing up really well, you know, and I am not a fan of this Seth Rollins character. I'm
think not either.
When he is on television doing the promos, man, like I if you listen closely enough, you can just hear television clickers changing the channel.
Yeah.
It's just turn off TV.
Yeah.
And yet, in spite of all that, they actually built up a pretty decent, interesting rivalry with him and Rey Mysterio. And then it's like Mysterio makes the big comeback. Dominic is kicking ass in this thing. It's like, wow, I'm starting to believe in Dominic. You know,
yeah,
he's handling the pressure really well for a 22-year-old. You know, he's hitting all of his spots and his segments and all that stuff. And it's like, man, are we gonna get like a tag match with Rollins and Murphy versus Mysterio and Dominic? Is that what's gonna happen? And then it's like, okay, well, Mysterio's coming back and he's coming for vengeance. And Dominic's like, well, I'm going to fight with you. I'm like, it's got to be a tag match then. No. Instead, he comes back and it's like, eye for an eye match. It's like, okay. Like, what does that mean? You have to fucking pluck the guy's eyeball out. It's like, and that's how you kill a storyline. That's how you overbook and just kill yourselves. It's like, it reminded me of when they said Kane has to win the WWF title or he lights himself on fire. And it's like, well, we booked ourselves into a corner here. So they gave Kane the title. He loses it back to Austin the next night. But here, someone's got to lose an eye. There's no way around it. That's how the match ends.
It reminds me of when it was the first time introduced that there was a first blood match. Okay, because that can happen anytime, and you not mean for it to happen. But you could have booked you could have any kind of set spots, any segments, anything you ever wanted, but it gets thrown out the door if there's that one mistake.
Right.
Okay.
But
this is the complete opposite of it.
It's an eye. How are you supposed to come back from that?
It's incredibly contrived. If they could just say whoever gets poked in the eye first. Okay, because that's almost what it seemed like to me. I saw reports going all over about how they're going to introduce CGI into this match and how we're actually going to try to see this. And I'm going to try to pull up these tweets and have them on my show for this week because the people have to be called out for stupid shit that they say. Okay.
Yeah. I honestly thought that because I was even thinking back, WWE Studios came out with that film with Kane. I forget what it was called. See No Evil.
See No Evil. Yeah.
And they actually had a couple really gory, nasty eye effects. And I was like, well, WWE Studios is not, like they are not unfamiliar with this.
No, not at all.
They could probably do something like that, where, he pretends to dig in and then you pull out like, a special effect eye or something like that.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. Like, he just gets, it's the same frickin' thing that we saw, back in May after Money in the Bank when he jams his eye into the steel staff. Somehow that popped it out this time instead of just damaging it. I don't.
We saw pliers. They broke out pliers and a toolbox and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, we darn well knew that wasn't going to be happening. Come on now.
And then you have Seth Rollins puking. I mean, like I looked up Rey Mysterio eye. Apparently they did have a big fake eyeball sitting there. I didn't see it on the broadcast. I'm not going to lie. But I was like, God, this is just shit.
They had a prop ready. They had a prop ready, but they never incorporated it. Thank God.
Yeah, it was total shit. I mean, when Seth Rollins was puking, I felt the same way. I was like, what an awful fucking ending to this, to what was actually a pretty good lead up to the finish. It's like, why did they even go through all that? Killing themselves, taking bumps on the apron for that fucking finish. It's like I don't understand. I hated literally everything about this match. I really did, and. Normally, I know everybody wants to give me a bad rap because I recap Raw, and yeah, sometimes Raw is a fucking chore to get through. But I usually am pretty fair, and I usually give everything a chance. This was just straight fucking garbage. It's some of the more shitty fucking concepts that I've ever seen on a professional wrestling show. It produced by WWE. I'm not gonna, all the shit that Impact was doing years ago. I'm not gonna. They're certainly not gonna get a free pass for that, and they did worse. But this was pretty fucking close.
What amazes me is all of this. This whole program began the same Monday that Becky Lynch announced her pregnancy.
Yes.
And the story of this was that Seth Rollins, after losing, I believe, to Drew McIntyre on the previous pay-per-view, is showing up, and his life has just, the bottom has fallen out. Okay, he lost his title match. Now the girl that they used to hype all the time that those two were together, now the girl is pregnant and everything. He's in shock. Okay, the guy has got so much crap on his plate, and he used to have a tag team match with him and Murphy against, I believe it was Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio. I think.
Yes, yeah, because
it was that or Humberto Carrillo.
They were thrown off the roof of the building, and then they were tagging.
That's right.
Next night. Yeah,
that's right. So here we are, and Seth Rollins is just on the apron, emotionless, a shell of a man, not reacting to a damn thing. It was a fantastic. I loved it. This is fantastic right here. Because this guy, he's at wit's end. Okay.
I called for the blindfold match right then and there that night. I was like, it's got to be a blindfold match. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be great because these guys are really talented, and they just seem like they could have a great match together.
There's a 3-month program, and to me, blindfold match sounds fantastic, especially if you're allowed to have a handler at ringside. Okay, like you've got Dominic on Ray's corner. Murphy over in Seth Rollins' corner, and the two of them will start trying to beat each other up and everything, but it doesn't matter what they do, it's who wins in the blindfold match.
Right.
And so you could have shenanigans going on everywhere, okay, but have Seth and Ray just kind of fumbling around trying to find each other and everything while there's mass hysteria going on the outside of the ring is kind of what I envision. But these two, we just get a street fight. That's all. And have all of the usual suspects run in. Have your Murphy. I'm not sure if Austin Theory is hurt, but have your Austin Theory run in. You've got your Humberto Carrillos, your Aleister Blacks, your Dominics. Have them all run in. I mean, shoot, if you want to. You could almost have Samoa Joe. If someone gets thrown into him, he pops someone in the eye hole because he doesn't care.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Anything other than this.
Yes. Okay. It's
like the thing that really kind of bummed me out about this match wasn't even like the match. It's just the overall environment that created this. It's like I'm all for suspending my disbelief and it's professional wrestling and it's goofy, but it's never been like this. This felt. When they announced the stipulation, and I was like, well, maybe we're like misunderstanding it. Maybe it's like, eye for an eye, and they're gonna go after the eye, and whatever it is. But when they said like we have to pluck the eyeball out, it's like, are you like? It felt so incredibly desperate. Like they are just throwing every idea against the wall. Because the cinematic matches, I mean, watching this Wyatt Swamp fight tonight, it's like, the cinematic matches have kind of jumped the shark now. It's like they're no longer like something where it's like they're beautiful production.
Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah,
incredible value of the production is incredible, but it's like now it's like it's too far out there. It's too much. Like every pay-per-view has one. It's like, okay, I'm good on the cinematic match. I just like it just felt just so incredibly desperate and like, hey, please pay attention to us, look at us, like we're doing something kooky over here, come check it out. It's like I just felt very sad watching it and just thinking of like what it must have been like in the creative room, where they were like, oh, why don't we just do a match where we pluck his eye out? Wouldn't that be a good idea? And Vince is like, God damn, I think that's the idea. And they're like, wow, what? This company, and somebody said it in the chat room before, I really agree with it. It's just so creatively gone. Like, like they have jumped the shark. They jumped the shark years ago, but the fucking all the eggs are hatching. It's come to roost now that it is well far beyond out of their control. They can't make stars to save their lives. I mean, they're doing a great job with Drew McIntyre, but that's like one guy. And they have Roman Reigns, obviously, but I mean, that was kicking and screaming into making him into a star.
Yeah.
It's like, it's time for a regime change in the worst way with this company, and they should do it now before they start renegotiating their TV deals. That like all these thoughts were going through my head as I'm watching this thing. I'm like, it's just it's these days it's coming to an end. Like this regime, this Vince McMahon being the sole person okaying everything. It's got to stop. I don't know who's going to be left when the pandemic's over and they start having people in the arenas again, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to start having regular shows. They'll have some people tune in. Maybe they'll definitely get a bump. the curiosity aspect of it, and then it's going to be like, you know what? For the last year, I haven't watched wrestling on Monday night, and my life hasn't really changed drastically at all. I'm fucking done with this. I don't need to watch this anymore. It's like all those people that when WCW went out of business, like my cousin was one of them, who was like, well, fuck it, I'm just not gonna fucking watch wrestling anymore. I'm done. Who's gonna be left after this pandemic's done? And this is the shit they're putting out to try to keep people. They're fucked. They're really fucked. And I am not that negative normally. I get it. Like I said, I always get, everybody always fucking thinks that I'm like Mr. Negative Nelly because of the Raw recaps. I am not this negative on the company. I am extremely down on it after this is the best they can do. That's fucking scary.
Well, let me see. I will attempt to be voice of reason.
Please.
I will. I am going to grab you by your shirt tail and pull you away from the cliff. Okay. I will at least try. I will at least try to. First off, honey, these TV deals are lasting another 2.5 years, so
they start negotiating next year.
We're going to start negotiating and everything, so that's still going on. The networks love live television. Regardless of where it is or what it is. If you've come up with a show and it's a half hour of a live shot of a jar of mayonnaise, they will give you $10 million for it. Okay?
I get it. And I get how the whole industry works. But
also I'm still trying to pull you back. Okay.
I'm just saying that they're not going to get as much money as they got.
Oh, Lord, no. No, of course not. No.
$1 billion for SmackDown to average less than what they were doing before? I don't know.
Here are my little things here that I'm just going to sprinkle in here. Number one, these cinematic matches, and say it right now. AJ Styles Undertaker was, yes, a very fun match. That was a fun match, full of cheese. Oh, are you kidding me? The cheese was so sharp and so rich. Oh, God. We melted that sucker down and enjoyed that fondue. Okay, that was great. All right. Then we have Cena Wyatt. I basically think it was a Cena Boo Bird's wet dream. Everyone that's ever booed Cena in their lifetime, here's what you get. This is what you've been asking for. Cena's head on a platter. Here it is. Even though it's not a regular match, it's everything that you've ever bitched about with John Cena. Here it is for you to take in. That's what the point of that match was. We've had cinematic matches on television with Tomato Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. We've had, and now we've had these new cinematic matches, the Money in the Bank ladder matches. But now we have this, okay? Yeah. I'm going to say right now, cinematic matches are the laziest matches ever put together. They are fucking lazy, okay? All it is to me, this reminds me of an episode of Family Guy. They sit down in a room. Oh, I'd like to do this. What would it be like if this happened? What would it be like if this happened? I don't know. Let's see. Braun Strowman in chains. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and have him kicking through water. Let's have Bray Wyatt float around in a boat and it comes back and he's not in it. Who the fuck started the motor? Let's have jump cuts going throughout. We don't know how the hell this happened. And Braun Strowman, he drowned. Maybe. But now he's back out of the water. But now they're both in the water. No one's coming up until the Fiend comes out of the water. And that's the end of the show. And I know that the artistic directorial and producer types are going to say, well, it's all left for your interpretation, Doug. It's what you want to make of it. What did you think of it? I'll tell you what I thought of it. They're fucking lazy is what they are. This wasn't anything. Nothing. Okay? Yeah. Nothing. This was nothing. Okay? All this was supposed to tell you is that the Fiend is back. That's it. Nothing else. How does this make Braun Strowman look? Oh, God, this is going to be fantastic for the Braun Strowman character, ain't it? How are we going to book ourselves out of this one that he's underwater? How are we going to do this? We going to wait a month like we did with AJ Styles? Can we have Braun Strowman come out in soaking wet clothes? You know?
Yeah, I know. It's totally killed Strowman's momentum. I mean,
It's
not
done.
that he had much.
Done.
Like Strowman was just like the guy that was there that they gave the title to because Roman Reigns, decided that, I'm going to, I just had the babies and I don't want to, bring anything home to them. So I'm going to stay home. And it's like, okay, well, now we're going to give the title to Strowman. So it always felt like, it was like a second place trophy.
Yeah.
He hasn't really established himself as a champion. I mean, look at the title matches he's had. The one bad Money in the Bank title match against Bray Wyatt, the handicap match with Miz and Morrison, which really just surrounded, by the aura of Wyatt, and now this. Like, rest in peace, Strowman's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's not much there. There's not much there for him.
Yeah, but again, the cinematic matches, I'm done with them. Okay, yeah. I am done with these cinematic matches, okay? Because to me, again, it's just a bunch of guys sitting around going like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Wouldn't it be cool if, but no telling of a story. There is no story told in this, okay? It's just stuff.
Yeah, it was just like stuff happening, and it's like he gets bit by a snake, then it's like he's fighting people, and then it goes back to like a boat. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It felt like a weird trip, it wasn't like it wasn't wrestling. I know that but it wasn't even kind of thought-provoking. It was just like, what the fuck is this?
There's no difference between this and any Young Bucks match that I've seen on AEW, because both of them, there's no structure. There's no structure. They're just doing shit to do shit. It makes no sense. It's not telling a story of any kind. None.
Yeah, like I think the worst thing to happen to them, again, during the pandemic was like that Boneyard match was so good that they're like, we got to do this on every pay-per-view now. Because it was like, okay, the Money in the Bank thing I totally get. Like, that actually worked out really well being at Stamford. That was actually really, really well done. I enjoyed that to pieces. And then it was time for NXT TakeOver in your house. And now we're doing a cinematic match for the Backlot Brawl, which was like, oh, well, of all the matches so far, that one's been the worst. And then it was like,
yeah,
they kind of redeemed themselves with Edge and Randy Orton. But again, it was kind of overkill at some points, and it was definitely long.
Way too long.
And now this. It's like, man, they have jumped the shark on them as well. It's like, the problem with WWE has always been like, if we tell a joke, we're just going to keep telling that damn joke until it is dead and buried in the ground. It's like, they should have treated the cinematic matches with kid gloves, really just like, we're only breaking this out, as needed. It can't be on every show. It just can't.
No. And we're not saying you only break this out for people like Undertaker and John Cena. You break this out every quarter, your big four. Your big four. SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, that's when you do it.
Absolutely. And only if it calls for it. Don't force it in there, like, where it's like, you have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, and then it's like, well, you have to have your quota of Hell in a Cell matches, so we're just going to insert, this match that doesn't need the Hell in a Cell into the Hell in a Cell, and it just kind of ruins the mystique of it. It's like, you can't have WWE cinematic matches pay-per-view. It has to make sense.
We're going to have Hell in a Cell, but it's going to be in a location that I will tell you where the cell is. Why in the hell is there a Hell in a Cell in this abandoned warehouse? And there's a bunch of flames everywhere. This is our interpretation of hell.
I would love to find that warehouse. That was pretty good.
That'd
be pretty fun. I would have loved that in my backyard wrestling days, but it's just there are so many issues with this company, and it's like, I just felt really, there was a couple times tonight where I was like, I felt really bad watching it. It was like, it just feels like a company that is just scrambling, and they are not like whatever it is they're trying to do to keep people. This ain't it, Jack. This is not it.
Honestly, here we go. my weird, very nerdy, dorky analogy here. I love playing the game Magic the Gathering. And what that game is all about is resource management. Is all it is about. You have certain cards that allow you to play better cards. Okay, it's resource management. Just like how Monopoly is. Monopoly is resource management. Honestly, any game that you've ever played in your life is resource management. How do I use this to accomplish this? The WWE has a wealth of resources. A wealth of resources. They have more money than any other organization that does what they do. Okay? They have a performance center. Yes, that's great and everything. And we've mentioned that, yes, they could pipe in noise and they can have other people in there, and that's all well and good. They can buy a separate building and do stuff in. They could lease out empty arenas and do this. They can. There are some places that phases are in place that they are able to do this. They can change the locale however they want to. They can have different performers doing different things. Okay? They, for too long, what's so weird is watching this show in comparison to AEW, and I'm doing this for a reason. I'm not saying that the wrestling is better. No, that's not the point. The point is AEW knows how to use the resources they've been given. Okay? Yes, Tony Khan owns a football team, and they've got a stadium to work with. Yes, they do. But they've used that to their advantage, and they have the money to do that. Vince McMahon and the WWE have that money. They could do something like that. They could get not a football stadium, but they could lease out other arenas and do that same thing. But they're in the performance center, and the resources they have in there, they have not used to their fullest capacity.
Exactly. And the other thing is that with Tony Khan, wrestling is not their only focus. For WWE, it is.
Yeah.
So like you would think they'd be throwing every possible, thing at it, to try to broaden whatever it is they're trying to present to you.
And
you're right. They can do it so much. They can do so much more.
There are two things though. I'm just gonna leave this. Oh God, WWE. Because these are long time coming talks. I know. Number one. Well, actually, I'm just gonna say the big one. And you mentioned it earlier when all this is done and we go back to normal. Okay. You remember all the hubbub that was made about the post-WrestleMania Raws? How Monday Night Raw, post-WrestleMania. Oh, there's going to be a lot of wacky shit going on because it's the Raw after WrestleMania. And that's where people are going to be acting. The crowd's going to be wacky. The wrestlers are going to be doing stuff you never thought they would do. And But then after 2 weeks, that initial hit just plummets.
Oh, yeah.
And
Fandango is a great example of that.
Oh, yeah. Fandango is the quintessential example of it, to where they have the post-WrestleMania Raw, everyone's going bonkers for his theme song, the WWE latches onto it, and oh man, did that sucker die a quick death.
The next week, I remember him cutting a promo, and he actually, I think he tried to start the chant, and everybody was kind of sitting on their hands. I was like, well, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, this is what's going to be happening now. When we, quote unquote, get back to normal, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. For every company, it's going to be really, really bad.
But think about this, and this is even scarier. Next week, baseball starts up.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball doesn't usually impact wrestling numbers as much as football would, but the appeal of just having live sports back might drive even more people away.
It could. It could.
But I mean, we're not too far away from football coming back. These numbers are abysmal of people who are watching and tuning in. Yeah, the demographics are good. They're still solid.
Yeah.
But man, football, I mean, they've had some lean times in the fall. Could Raw do under 1 million viewers?
Well, first off, I'm going to say I'm incredibly pessimistic when it comes to any live sports. I don't think we're having any football. Football's not happening.
My brother-in-law said the same thing, and he's really, really in tune with.
We're not having any college sports right now. We are not having any college sports. Okay, so that's number one, and then number two, NFL. No, we got way too many major states that are trying to get their crap together. Okay, Florida's got 3 football teams. California's got 4. New York's got 4. I'm sorry, but you first got to figure out what's going on in those other states first before we even think about bringing back live sports. That's not happening.
Well, I would think it would still be empty stadiums and stuff like that, which
it's going to be a lot of people traveling.
Can't imagine football in an empty stadium. It'd be really weird.
Well, according to New York, no one's coming to my state to play the Panthers. And if the Panthers even come anywhere near New York, they've got to be quarantined for 2 weeks. So, how are we going to do this?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyone coming to Florida, you better schedule accordingly. So, I'm not even thinking. Football is not even happening. I love baseball. I love my Indians. They had their first game yesterday. I didn't even watch. I don't care. Because
I didn't watch Yankees versus Mets either. I'm not gonna lie. I just watched the highlights and watching Aaron Judge hit a home run tonight in the empty Yankee Stadium. It was. I mean, they were piping in crowd noise, which is okay. Well, at least they learned from WWE's mistake. But man, it was super fucking weird. And I don't know if I mean, baseball. Look, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I always I talk to more people that say it's such a boring sport than I do that say, it's really a beautiful sport. I find it to be beautiful.
Oh, I think football's fucking boring. Okay.
I think the same thing.
Baseball's great. Football is boring.
I can watch a football game, but I get more out of a baseball game.
Yeah.
But man, baseball without even just the din of people talking and eating, Cracker Jacks and shit like that, it's a tough watch, man. It's a tough watch with even just that din being out of the stadium. Whew,
I love listening to baseball. I listen to baseball on the radio is what I do. Okay.
I remember when we were down in Florida, we had a long talk about you just love that Cleveland Indians radio announcer.
Yeah, I love him.
Hey.
And the thing is, it's different because there's no background noise of the crowd. You hear the crack of the bat, but you don't hear the roar of the crowd. They might be Yankee games differently, yeah, because you can definitely hear the crowd on the Yankee games. I mean, you hear the crowds and everything, but the thing is, with baseball coming up now, I don't want to listen to them because I'm not going to hear that.
Yeah.
And that's a very integral part, okay? But I know we're straying away here from the wrestling and the things, but what we're trying to say is once we, quote-unquote, get back to normal, it's going to be incredibly different for this organization. It's going to be very, very, very hard for them right now.
Wrestling is so much being a fan. It's so much about just repetition and just you see what happens, when Impact or TNA at the time changed channels, once, even from Spike TV, where they were, AEW would kill for the numbers that they were doing on Spike TV. They were They were doing over 1 million. That was when Raw was doing 4, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Impact! What a TNA! What a fucking joke they are! They're only doing 1.5 million." It's like, man, AEW would kill their grandmothers for 1.5 million.
Oh yeah.
But when they started switching channels and changing times and this and that, every single time they changed, less and less people followed because it's like, well, they used to be on Thursday and now they're on Tuesday, and well, fuck it. I guess I'm not gonna watch them ever again. Same thing happened with SmackDown. It's like goes from Thursday to Friday, and then it goes from Friday to Tuesday, and then it goes from Tuesday again to Friday, and it's like you're gonna get that drop off. Now, yeah, SmackDown's doing better numbers than Raw right now, right?
Yeah.
But if you think Raw is in lesser households than SmackDown, so Raw's number is actually way better being in lesser households than SmackDown. It's people. My point is, like, it impacts them every time you switch channels, and that's not really my point. My point is the fact that like once you break that I'm talking myself in fucking circles here, but like once you break that habit of like watching on Thursday night or Monday night or whatever, it's like you're not going to go back to it, man. You're just not.
No.
It's especially when you realize that like all these years I've watched wrestling. It's like, well, I used to watch with my grandpappy and this and that. It's like, well, you don't need to.
You need to, you need to prepare yourself though. Because that first episode, post-pandemic, name all of the names. Every name you can think of will be on that show. Every old fart that is under a Legends contract is going to be on that show. There will be no actual matches. None whatsoever. It's just going to be a parade of fossils. Is all you're going to see. You're going to get Stone Cold to end the show. The Rock's going to show up. You're going to have all of them. Hulk Hogan's going to show up too. All of them are going to show up. They will dig people from under the ground to do this. And then 3 weeks after that, tapers off. They'll do their normal shows and everything. So I'm just saying right now, prepare yourselves for that first post-pandemic Raw.
Yeah.
And SmackDown. Because it is going to be an absolute shit show. Seriously, they will grab those pliers, try to go after your eye holes like Ray and Seth tried to do. Okay? Don't fall for it. I'm telling you right now, don't fall for it. You guys are smarter than that. You guys listening to us right now, you might be dumber than that. You're listening to us for this long. But, okay? But you're smarter than this. Okay? When you're being sold to.
You do.
Okay?
And I mean, like, you even think about, like, you just look at the history. Look at what they did with Raw Reunion last year, where that did about, average-wise, it did about 3.2 million. Every hour was over 3 million. Next week, back to 2.1 million. Like, they dropped a million. Right. There was no bump from Raw Reunion. I think you're right. There's going to be a big, reunion. They're going to do a big reunion show. It's going to be, there's going to be the curiosity bump, and there's going to be the nostalgia bump.
Yeah.
Then, you can't keep fucking bringing these people in every week. It's going to trickle down and down and down. Or like, even like when SmackDown debuted on Fox with 3.8 million, it's like, oh my God, what an amazing number. Wow, this is going to be an unbelievable deal, and wrestling's going to take off. And the next week for their draft special, they dropped 1.5 million people.
Yeah.
Once the curiosity and the legends are gone, I mean, like, really, like, the chickens are coming home to roost. They relied way too much on selling all their events on these legends, and eventually it was going to get to the point where the legends get too old that they can't do it anymore. And like Goldberg is like, he's old, but and so is Undertaker. And Undertaker finally was like, even he was like, I wanted to stick around and try to get that one last match, but I know it's not coming now. I'm fucking done. I'm done. Yeah. Unless you really, really need me, I'm done.
Yeah.
Goldberg, is in great shape, but he was never a great wrestler to begin with. That's the only reason why he can still go out there and have a match, because he didn't take a lot of bumps in his career, and he didn't do much anyway. So he's the only one that's like still in shape. Other than that, Rock's definitely not coming back. The insurance on him is too much. John Cena's done, essentially.
Shawn Michaels is done. Triple H might do a match.
Triple H will come back and do matches, but like he's not. I don't really think that he's looked at as a legend, like like a Shawn Michaels. To me, Triple H was never a needle mover.
No,
because he was never gone. You know, it's like he's always been there. He's the dad of NXT now.
Yeah.
He's just there. He's not like the legend to me, at least, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way as well. But it's not like when Sting came back, or it's Triple H. He's just the guy.
The well has run dry.
Yes, that's the point.
The well is run dry.
Hogan's Mr. the Bionic Man, and no one would pay to see him anyway. I don't think at this point wrestle.
Honestly, no one. They got
to build stars. They have to build stars, and they can't. It cannot just be on how Vince is feeling and what way the wind is blowing that day, if he's going to continue to go with somebody or not.
Right. But we always say the argument is, well, they gotta build up other people. Well, the very first match we had on this pay-per-view involved
the transition. Good job, Doug. Thank you.
Hey man, I don't own a Segway, but I damn sure know how to run one. The New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura. Okay. We sit here and bitch about how, they haven't built anyone. Okay. So many people asking for a Big E singles run. Many people saying that the Shinsuke Nakamura singles run was a dud. People saying Cesaro is just there. They've gotten off the bandwagon of Cesaro needs to be a champion. Cesaro needs this. And we can't make arguments about Kofi Kingston because he already got it. So, if we're talking about building up stars, what are we doing here? Are we just letting people know that they're still there?
I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would love to see Big E get a chance, as that guy.
Yeah.
Because he is so supremely talented. He's got charisma out the wazoo. Sometimes I go on that website Cameo, and I'll just watch some of the cameos that Big E has done for other people, and he is like that in his regular life. He is funny. He's easy to connect with. They are struggling to make stars, and there hasn't really been a lot of people that haven't been tainted by the dreaded start and stop push. You got Humberto Carrillo is like the latest example of the start stop. Dolph Ziggler is a veteran of the start stops.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
Big E has not been tainted by that whatsoever.
No, he hasn't. He's had the push, and then fell into the abyss, and then came back with the New Day. Right. Just like how Kofi Kingston fell into the abyss. And
he was the in and out. He was a start stop. He was a career start stop guy.
It's hard for us to make these arguments that they should be building up new performers and new people in the situation that they're in right now, because it's nigh impossible. Okay, it really is. But I'm going to backtrack, because it is actually very possible. It is the easiest time to do it right now, because you don't have a stupid fucking crowd to confirm or verify whatever the hell you're doing. You can do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. It's your show. No one's going to boo or yay unless you're paying them to, and they're doing that right now. So, do whatever you want. Put whoever you want in there. It doesn't matter. People are going to bitch about it all over the internet, but you know what? That means they're watching. So, do whatever you want. But don't do what the internet is asking you to do. Do something way worse. Do something way worse. What do I mean by way worse? Oh, God. Please. Why they didn't make Tamina a champion, I don't know. But that's worse to me. You want to do way worse? Make Dana Brooke a champion. Oh, God. Oh, ooh. You do whatever you want, okay? Have Big E be a champion, and you can roll with that. You can do it however you want, okay? You don't need a crowd to confirm or verify. Don't need television ratings to tell you a damn thing. Haven't been paying attention to them in the first place. So, doesn't really matter there. You don't need to worry about gate receipts. No one's going to be showing up anyway.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Carte blanche. Aren't we approaching that time anyway? Isn't this about the time of the year where they just start throwing crap up the wall and they see whatever sticks?
Right after SummerSlam, yeah, generally.
I think they've been doing that all the time. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's all they've done this year. Yeah.
They've been doing it for the past 3 years.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Wild card rule, multiple drafts. Yeah, absolutely.
I almost want to say the WWE to me feels like someone who, coming from experience, is starting on Twitch and gets desperate after a month. Okay. Maybe I need to change the time that I'm streaming. Maybe I need to change the game that I'm playing. Maybe I need to change the overlay. Maybe I need to change this. Maybe I need to change that. They don't just stay consistent. Stay in your lane. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Don't do eye for an eye matches. Just do a street fight. Just have a regular tag team match. Don't make it an elimination style. Just have a regular match. Don't have it 2 out of 3 falls for no reason whatsoever. Just do stuff. That's what we want you for, just to do stuff. Don't pay attention to our opinions. Like I tell you, don't scroll down. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay? So, seriously, they have all the resources the WWE has to do whatever the hell they want. And they aren't taking advantage of the situation they're in.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, it's very much like, you can buy the best ingredients, to make yourself a beautiful gourmet dinner.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the hell you're doing, it doesn't matter how good the ingredients are. You're not going to get what you would get if you went to like Ruth's Chris or something like that. You can get a nice Wagyu beef steak. And, if you don't know how to cook a steak, it's going to be another overcooked piece of crap meat that you spend $200 on.
Pretty much.
And like they have a bunch of guys, at the top of this, corporation that are way past their expiration date on, having their finger on the pulse of like what is interesting to their fans. Yeah. Like I get it. Like, yeah, throw a whole bunch of stuff out there and do this and that. But it's like all I see is like, as much as they throw new ideas out there, it's just a rehash of like the same stuff that's been done before. I think it's time for a fresh perspective.
I think it's,
well, how about this? It's like they the star problem, like they made the big change, and it's to scripted promos and stuff like that,
Right.
like we've talked about this ad nauseum for many years. And the only reason that they really switched to scripted promos was so that they could control, the narrative and all that stuff, make sure that all the stuff is approved and whatever. But really, it was just so like we could just have, a TV show where there's no surprises. We know exactly what's going to happen every single time. Which, then, it's like you watch an interview where it's like, where Vince talks about the very first Monday Night Raw, and it's like, it's going to be live. And if you trip on the rope, I meant to do that, the spontaneity of the show. Like they completely eliminated that, like that kind of, it's called Raw because it was Raw live show. It was like, this is it. We're not going to be able to edit this. It's just going to be Raw. Here it is out there for you.
Yeah.
Now it's just like this, like medically sterilized show that's just like it's nice and it's pretty and like they always get the proper camera angles and sometimes it really works out and it's like, man, like that camera angle is great and it's a good thing that they practiced that before the show went on the air because that really worked out. I think I lost my screen for a second there. I hope you can still hear me. Like it's almost like they did the change just for the sake of change, where
Yes.
they wanted to control that narrative, and change for the sake of change is empty, and that's just how it is. That is everybody says it. I've heard that statement made millions of times in many different contexts, not having to do with wrestling. It's just change for the sake of change is empty. It's almost like what the hell could go, what could we lose by letting, this person go out there with just, an idea of what they want to say. I mean, like that's the one thing that separates AEW from WWE. Like I think WWE's matches, for the most part are very much on par with AEW, where it's just like they're just doing a whole bunch of dives. Like right now, I'm looking at the screen and Big E's gonna spear off the apron. It's like, well, what the fuck did that have to do with the match at all? It had no impact on the match, and it's a dangerous bump, and they're killing each other, and it's impressive to look at. But then I completely forgot about it until I just saw the GIF. It's like they're just moves for the sake of moves. Like so. There's really no difference there.
But I'll be bored the fuck out of a Timothy Thatcher match. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that too. That's the other end of the spectrum, But you can do stuff like that if it plays into the match. Like now, if he did that big move there, and then it's like you work the back the rest of the time, yeah, it makes sense. And then you can do extra things and this and that. But like just throwing stuff like that out there where he could blow his knee out or spike himself on the head, it's like, well, why do you want to do that move if it's not going to play into the finish and stuff like that? The big difference with AEW is that they're letting their people like I remember when I had to recap AEW one night for Josh, and it was Nyla Rose who went out there and just did a promo and it wasn't great,
right?
But it wasn't bad either. But it was Nyla Rose going out there with an idea of what she wanted to say, and she tried to deliver this promo, off the cuff. She practiced it before she went out there. It was hers.
Right.
That's the point. It was hers. It wasn't somebody writing for her. It wasn't, somebody's idea of what they think Nyla Rose is. It's like, okay, they gave me some bullet points and I'm going to go out there and try to deliver my vision and their vision. It's a collaborative effort. And I was like, I can get behind Nyla Rose cutting 15 shitty promos, just trying really hard, and it's gonna sound unique and different each time because it's coming from the person rather than the same writer every week. I'll take 10 shitty Nyla Rose promos over a Seth Rollins 15-minute diatribe where it's just fucking a big giant nothing every week. I'll take that all day long. That's the difference.
The days are gone of I want to say the organic of professional wrestling.
Oh, totally.
The days are gone of where you had a performer that had a character and they tried to sell you on this character through their delivery, through their actions, through everything that they did, verbally or non-verbally, to sell you on this character that they are trying to build. This concept, throw into any era of the WWF and the WWE or WCW or any major American televised wrestling promotion. Okay? You had a character, they tried to sell you on this character. How it spoke, how it acted, how it everything. Great. We can come up with so many examples of it. But it takes time. For one, it takes time for this character to develop. But how does it develop effectively? It develops effectively when there are no restraints and there's enough faith in everyone involved that our ultimate goal is for everyone to understand what this character is in this environment that they're in, pitted with these foils and allies at their disposal. How do we convince people that Stone Cold is Stone Cold? Well, pitched them on an idea, give them a mic, let's have them sell it.
Right.
How is The Rock going to sell us on The Rock? The Rock really never even came to be. He was nowhere close to coming to be. But he's got an idea. Let's give him a mic. We've got enough faith. Let's see what happens. But those are also to the points to where those characters and those performers, those people that have actual names, were actually producers of the show. They were given a position in the show to be a part of this show, to be active writers of this show. Okay. I am not saying that Stone Cold Steve Austin was a producer and he's sitting back there in front of televisions. No, he was a performer, but he had active ears, which made him a part of the staff, the creative staff of that show. Same with The Rock. Same with Hulk Hogan. Same with Shawn Michaels. Same with Bret Hart. Same. Goes on down the line. We do not have a performer like that of any kind right now. John Cena was the last one. John Cena was the last one, but we don't even know if John Cena even came up with that on his own.
I would say that's a pretty good impression of like what John Cena the guy is. I think he was probably he might be the last of that, Wild West, where you just you get the idea of what you want to say and go out there, because you would trust John Cena to do that.
Here are your bullet points. You got this.
Yeah, he is that guy that can do it. I mean, like, you see guys that are like great promos that go out there and like Mick Foley, like when he would come back and it's like, man, he really struggled with that. Like Mick Foley wasn't even close to the promo that he was, in his heyday. Of course, he's not going to be close in his heyday anyway. As you get older, you lose something. But when you're being told this is what Mick Foley is today, and it's like, I've never done anything like this before. It's like, even like Ric Flair's promos on Raw, it's like, oh, that was a big nothing burger. And that was like, that's Ric Flair now? Like, that's their idea of what Ric Flair is? I would let Ric Flair go out there and do his own thing.
I would think you would have enough trust in some people to have them go out and, well, here are your bullet points. This is your character. You have X amount of time. Make sure you pay attention to that guy behind the camera, to let you know when to do this or do this. Okay.
Right. But in what you were just saying before, where we don't have any of those people these days, we don't know. We don't know if they did or if they do or they don't, because no one is allowed to stray past that, sterilized piece of paper that they're given every week with the idea of what their character is. Most of the people have no input on what their characters do or say or look like or anything. It's like, I remember, like even think back to like, just like a weird example, No Way Jose, like where he's like, the guy came in and I guess he was just thinking like, I got to do something to stand out. And it's like, No Way Jose was never going to be anything, but goddamn, the guy really tried to switch some things up and stand out. He went and got he got dreadlocks and dyed them green and all this stuff. And they actually put him on TV one week in a squash match. And then the next week it was back to the afro. They must have told him like, get fucking rid of that because we didn't approve of this. It's like, you can't do anything without their say so. That's a problem. Like you're not gonna like you brought up all those great people before. Where they take an active role. Like Steve Austin. He could go out there and just with his bullet points and there's no Austin 316 in this system. There's no The Rock says in this system. There's probably not even Bret Hart coming up with the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret Hart would be like a job boy bitch, like in this day and age. It would be like he'd be like a total nothing.
Right now, it's in this. I think the biggest reason that we get so frustrated and disappointed every time we watch this product, or sometimes other products, but mainly this product, is two reasons. One, we expect so much more, but we have to understand how old we are and how old everyone else is. Okay? Got to understand that, yeah, we may be a lot really smart on this, and I'm not saying that other people are stupid, but there are people that are watching it for the first time and don't see any problems with this. They don't know they've never seen a live Stone Cold Steve Austin match or a live Rock match. Okay? Right. It's been that far. But the reason that I know that you and I and so many others get frustrated, and it happens on that very first segment, whether it be at the beginning of Raw or the very first segment they even have involving someone holding a microphone, you get pissed when you can tell the beats in the script. Okay? These people that they have right now across the board are some of the worst readers you will ever find. Okay? They are the worst. Okay? I'm sorry, you could find a third-grade production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and it's way better read than some of these people they got right now. I'm telling you, William Shatner is embarrassed, okay? You can tell the beats in their script. This is why at first we really thought that Baron Corbin was going to be shit. Baron Corbin was horrible at this. Man, when he first showed up, he sucked. But a year in, some tweaking to the character, tweaking to the look. For God's sakes, the number one thing, shaving that head, was a good move. Outstanding move. And then aligning him with the McMahons, and that brings up confidence and everything, making him look like the manager of TGI Fridays. Yes, perfect. The people are getting behind him. Now he's getting the confidence with the crowd booing him all the time to go out there and be that character. And he's being it. He's absolutely doing it. How do I know so? He hasn't performed on a pay-per-view in 2 months. That's how good he is. Because they don't need him on the pay-per-views to confirm that he is the best heel this company has. And it's amazing, to tell you the truth, that he hasn't been on a pay-per-view to have to do anything. He has only been on television once every 2 weeks. He has been narrowly missing the WWE milk carton. Narrowly escaping. There are some people that are on this milk carton that deserve to be on it. But I always mention it to you, everyone, because you start wondering, well, why are they there? Why are they? Oh, yeah, they suck. That's why. Oh my God, they just released 25 people on April. That's horrible of them. Oh, wait a minute. I don't even remember when any of them were on television last. Okay, so we are incredibly frustrated and disappointed because, I'll be honest, the talent's not there. And I'm not just even talking in the ring. You can learn how to do all of that stuff. That can be taught. Okay? It's having that presence and having that microphone presence, the inflection in your voice, the facial expressions, the nonverbals. Those are the most important things. No one on this roster has it right now, except for maybe this guy, Drew McIntyre, and the Karen Bourbon that I mentioned earlier. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there are big holes in the acting game. That's why it's like, when Edge came back, from acting in all those shows, it's like, and he's really just like a better promo than he was in his heyday. It's like, man, like, God, he's a superstar and he's 46 years old. God damn. Like, there is an issue. Yes. Again, we don't know if we have a potential Rock, Austin, Cena, Hulk Hogan on our hands
it's supposed to happen organically. We won't really know.
Because of the creative environment that these people find themselves in. And I think a lot of the people coming in probably grew up on Rock, Austin, and John Cena.
Yeah.
A lot of the young kids definitely would be. Like Austin Theory would definitely know those people. And it's like, you don't get into wrestling to be like an actor, like where you're going to be reciting scripts, like everybody goes in, like on the indie scene, you're cutting your own promos. Even at the Performance Center, like, they make you cut your own promos. You have to stand there, and how does that help anybody? Especially because you're gonna get called up to the big show. And I'm not talking about Paul White. I'm talking about Raw and SmackDown, and they're gonna give you a page and a half of this, and you got to just memorize it and deliver it. They should be teaching acting classes down there. They should be teaching, just emoting. I don't know what the hell they're teaching them down there. They're teaching them how to work the same exact style as everybody else, and it's just the same generic match that you see, across the board. And that's not what you need. You do need to teach these people those little extras that go into making a match that much better.
And I think if there was one thing, if I was ever in that position to build up young performers when it comes to performing, and I'm not talking about doing anything athletically, for fuck's sake, look at me. I can't do any of that stuff. Okay, I'm not talking about that. But when it comes to, if someone like me, I love being behind a microphone. You put me on a stage in front of 150 people or more, I'll try my damnedest to make them laugh or have a reaction of some kind. So if I was going to give a suggestion or an exercise that you professional wrestlers could do to try to build themselves up as stage performers, this is a creative exercise I would give them. Think of any play, Shakespearean play or Broadway play or anything that you've ever read in middle school, high school, or college. You now get to build a professional wrestling program for 3 months of television to build up this Shakespearean play. You grab some other performers. You're going to show us Macbeth in a professional wrestling ring. Mm-hmm. Who are the characters of your play? You are going to enact, let's see, Death of a Salesman.
Willie Loman.
Yeah, who is Willie Loman? Who, I know it sounds incredible. Doug, what the fuck? But this is how you get them in the creative process. This is how you get them to say, okay, I'm going to be this character, and this is what happens with this character, and its ethics, and its flaws, and everything. And it goes on down the line. You've got to make the performers feel like they're a part of something and not just a cog in the wheel. Once they feel part of something, you can tell that they are invested into it and they actually believe what they're trying to sell us.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to detect the beats in their script.
That would be a start. I'd rather not even hear beats or scripts, period.
Oh, right. Right.
But if we're going to do scripts, you got to teach them how to fucking deliver it better. You're totally right about that.
Yeah, you got to teach them how to read. Oh, God. Okay. So we've told everyone to stop watching WWE for the past 45 minutes.
Good job.
Yeah. Make sure you tune in this coming Monday for the Post Raw report. I'm sure it'll be full of high marks.
Actually, you know what? As down as I was on this show, I have to say, like all it takes is just a good angle or something like that to get me excited. Call me crazy, Doug. I am very interested and excited in the year 2020 to watch Randy Orton versus The Big Show.
Oh God, yes, I am. Yes.
Really looking forward to watching and recapping this match tomorrow.
Yes.
Really.
Oh, yes.
Because they've done such a beautiful job of building up Randy Orton, and Big Show came back, and just that little interaction they had last week was just so great.
Yes.
So like that's what keeps me from going off the cliff. And like as bad as this show was, and yes, this show very much bred this conversation tonight, because there's no denying it. We can't say that it's not there. There are huge issues in this company,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to be talked about every now and then. They don't need to be talked about ad nauseum and beaten over the head like some places do, but every now and then it's like we can't avoid it. We have to just, we'd be dishonest if we didn't, if we were trying to pass this off as like, hey, this was really fucking great. I don't know what everybody else is talking about. Like, yeah, it was shit. And these are the fucking problems in the company. And yeah, sorry, you had to fucking sit here and listen to it for, the last 45 minutes. But I think everybody has something good to take away from it, something good there. But
there are positives.
As bad as things are, they still know how to do certain things right. And if you have two established stars, they can still get something interesting going on there. And I'm very interested to watch that tomorrow. By the way, it's post Raw number 90 tomorrow. We're 10 away from 100. So looking forward to that show.
I'm post Raw number 90. I'm a hot shit.
I'm just saying, 90.
The only reason I started putting numbers on my show was just because someone wanted me to put numbers on my show. I don't know how many numbers my show has. I don't know. I've been doing it for a while, but I didn't really think that would be a selling point. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to, my numbers of shows are not going to go in sequence. Watch out. Tomorrow is episode number 4. And then the week after that, it's episode 5200.1. So, perfect. Yeah, so that's what I don't know. I would not do such a thing. What did everyone think of this show? I think we're both giving this a collective thumbs down. What did everyone say on the Twitters? 76.7% giving this pay-per-view a thumbs down. No shock at all. That's okay. It's okay. We have things to look forward to, though, on Monday. Big Show versus Randy Orton. What I look forward to is I need more Akira Tozawa and R-Truth in my life. I need more of that. I
have a very sneaking suspicion at some point Ric Flair is going to be winning the 24/7 title.
Would not shock me at all. I need more of that in my life. That's all.
I need Ric Flair R-Truth interactions. I mean, Ric Flair, who's been doing this for almost 50 years, having to stand there stone faced while R-Truth was accusing him of being Akira Tozawa, was probably one of my favorite things I've seen in wrestling during the quarantine. It's so great. So great.
So that's what you're looking forward to next Monday. Not next Monday, tomorrow. Mikey Tedesco, the effervescent one, and Victoria talking about Raw immediately following Raw on this thing. I'm trying to construct a sentence, but I'm failing miserably.
Right here. Yes, on our Wrestleview network here on YouTube. And if you enjoyed our show tonight, please subscribe to us and press the little bell button so you can be notified every single time we go live. We have a lot of great content here. You got Wrestleview Weekly, you got Wrestleview Live, you got Wrestleview Post Raw. Rocking and rolling.
Yes. Coming up. So I've got to kind of tease the show. First off, 2 locks were wrong on this pay-per-view. So on Sunday's show, 2 shots of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila go down my gullet. So this was supposedly an Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And we're all about extreme and hardcore. It's so extreme, sometimes it doesn't even start with an E. But, there was a discussion thread that popped up on our Wrestleview Media Facebook page of all of the fans on here. It was a poll about when you think of hardcore wrestling, who do you think of? And your choices were like Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer, and they had some others on there that were all Americans. And I threw in there, Atsushi Onita and Mr. Pogo. You people know nothing of hardcore extreme wrestling. And some people, I could tell, they replied with, who? Who are they? Oh, you're in for a doozy, kids. I'm here to learn ya. Coming up this coming Sunday on this episode of Wrestleview Weekly, we're having a watch-along, kids, of some of the most gruesome Japanese death matches. Okay? You guys...
Seen them?
Oh, God.
I used to have DVDs from like FMW and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking FMW. I'm talking from the old VHS RF video collection. No, these are not the disgusting. No. We're not going to get into the history of RF video right now. But the matches I'm probably going to be showing to you: Atsushi Onita versus Hayabusa in a Japanese time bomb death match. This one will be fun. That, or I could show them Atsushi Onita versus Mr. Pogo. Mr. Pogo versus Terry Funk is insanely weird because Mr. Pogo dislocated his shoulder in that match. And Terry Funk tried to light him on fire while he had his shoulder dislocated underneath a bed of barbed wire. So, you kids,
Wrestling.
Professional wrestling at its finest. Tune in Sunday. Turn your head if you're squeamish, is all I got to say. All right. We're all worked up now. I don't know if I'm going to get to bed at a decent hour now.
I'm sweating right now, and it's not just the heat wave.
I am too. So I'm gonna.
It was a productive conversation, Doug, and it was actually. If I'm gonna fucking be on the cliff, I'd like to have you next to me. So that's not a bad thing.
The problem is you tied the other end of that bungee cord up to me, and I'm not planted on the ground at all. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by for the train wreck after the train wreck. Tomorrow, Mikey Tedesco, Victoria, talking about Monday Night Raw. Sunday, I try not to go off the rails as we watch some hardcore wrestling of sorts. And as always, don't be a dumbass. Don't be an asshole. Wear a mask. Don't be a jerk. Okay? Don't be a jerk.
Please.
Yeah. Care about everyone else before you think of yourself. And that's a Japanese way of thinking. Okay? Yeah, Japan. I'm going to try not to talk about America. Doug, stop waffling. Okay. See you all next time. Know when you're being sold to.